So I'm trying something different today. I've turned my phone around so it should be filming in better quality. However, I'm just looking at a camera now. I can't see myself. I finally got all like my pretty lights set up and stuff. I think they look really cool. I do kind of just look like a really pretentious vlogger now. After making my series last year on the creative divide, I wanted to continue having conversations about kind of YouTube culture and stuff like that. And I spoke kind of about how advocating online, that kind of side of things, a couple of weeks ago when I spoke about the autism community. So this is very much almost a continuation to that, but this time fully for moaning about what I feel is wrong with YouTube at the moment in 2019. Cool. Let's start off with the fact that YouTube is definitely oversaturated in 2019. Whether that's a good thing or not, that's up for personal debate. And out of a large group of people, if you think about it statistically, there is always going to be a large number of people that are doing things which another large group of people don't agree with. I must say, I must do like a quick warning disclaimer thing to cover my own back. So I will be doing a lot of generalising in this. I just want to say how it is, because the main problem I'm going to address today is something that I've been quite annoyed about for a while, and I feel it just needs speaking about. When YouTube started, money was never equated to it. Money or fame were never things that you would think about with YouTube. Obviously, I was a child at the time when it first came about, but I started to properly discover YouTube in my teens. And I spoke about, by the time I'd got round to like properly enjoying YouTube, I saw these people already as celebrities. So I suppose you could say I looked at YouTube and I saw that it was just money and fame. It was only once I discovered smaller creators that I started to appreciate the fact that there were actually artists as such. There were people who just wanted to create for creating. Yes, some of them just so happened to get successful, but at the core of it, very like when I started, it was still like this. That's all it was. It was just about making stuff that you love, and it was that made me want to start it, because I just want to chat rubbish to a camera. I'm on YouTube to spread a message. You know, various messages, I suppose, but ultimately that's what it is. I don't care about anything else. I get some nice perks from it, don't get me wrong, but that's what I want to do. I just want to create and hopefully make people think. The problem is now you look at YouTube and an outsider looking at it sees it as just uploading a few videos, and then there you go, you've got money and fame. Which means that now you get far too many people joining it because they see that as a quick route to success in life, to be rich and famous. I actually watched a TED Talk recently by Maisie Williams. Go and watch it, I'll put it there. It's all about the notion of fame and stuff. It's really interesting, but that's kind of sidestepping from the point. Anyway, if anyone can look at YouTube and say, oh, that's a quick route to fame and money, apparently, it means that someone who studies YouTube for a little bit can see a bit more of how it works and how they can get their way to the top quickly. Generally, across the platform, the bigger numbers you have, the more opportunities you have, the more money you have, just the more everything you have. There are occasions where it is about what you create, which is more important than how many people it's reaching. But let's face it, any brand coming to me has not come to me because of my size. They've come to me because of what I've been doing. There's far too much greed in today's world, and that means people want to take shortcuts to be able to reach these levels. Like the people who have been at the top for years, they've worked so hard to do so. They've started creating because they love to create. There probably wasn't money involved when they started doing it. People see this thing of numbers equating to opportunities, and the way they feel they can shortcut it is by buying them, and you see it so often. I don't like dishonesty, I don't like people lying, I don't like any of that. I like authenticity. Anyone who has ever interacted with me, I've always gone and sniffed out their stats first. Yeah, I'm not bothered about seeing the amount, I'm more bothered about seeing how they've got to where they've got. I use a website called Social Blade to investigate people a lot, just to sniff them out, and that allows you to see really detailed graphs, and from those graphs you can analyse data. Right, so I've just got my graph up, I'll put it on screen as well. You can see my entire YouTube journey. What you can see there is you can see generally my graph is a slope. That's fine, and where there are little jumps, you can tell that's when I release videos that got a lot of views, like the Atypical video, the Good Doctor video. That's where the little bumps happen. The graph I've now put on screen for you now is a channel that isn't used anymore, but I know it's one that I've analysed in the past, so I can kind of give you a bit of a feedback around it. I'm going to keep it anonymous because I don't want to get into that. But as opposed to seeing a slope, here you see a staircase. This could easily be explained if at every point it jumped up there was a viral video. The drops that you see on the staircase graph are most likely when YouTube do like their big clear out that they do occasionally, where they try and get out as many of these fake accounts as possible. Social Blade also offers a graph of views, and with this one, if I go onto the views, you can see that the first staircase jump matches up with the jump in views, so you can assume that's a viral video. That could be explained away by that. However, the rest of them aren't. Comparing these two graphs, what you can see is that there has been subscribers bought. Not necessarily bought, but gained through not legitimate ways, and that mostly includes being bought. I check out people and channels in this way because that's my first way of getting a gauge as to why they're in this, because if they've got their audience by buying it, not interested. Sometimes I've been wrong and they've been through really extreme circumstances. However, most of the time you see a graph like that, and that's the case. You can also find it on other social media platforms. If you look through someone's followers, and a lot of the accounts are not from the country of the person that is making the content. Channels like myself, my biggest audiences are UK, US, Canada, English speaking, Western culture. You can scroll down someone's account, and if you see a load of accounts that have not got profile pictures, they've got names and bios that aren't in English. Obviously, that's generalising a lot, but if you see a lot of that, that tends to be where the fake subscribers come from. I found a tool by Hype Auditor. I'm going to leave a link to it in the description. You can type in an Instagram name here, and it will tell you the kind of genuineness of the audience. I would run this audit on my own account, however you need 1,000 followers and I've not got 1,000 followers, so if you want to follow me on @ConnorWardUK on Instagram, feel free to. I'll get there one day. I'm going to use my friend Dan because he's got a fairly big audience. Of course you have to say you're not a robot. I struggle so much with these. And here are the scores. Dan has a score of 94 out of 100. Which obviously means that most of his audience is genuine. That 6%, what that will be people who followed him, who just don't engage with the account as much. So if you started Instagram when you were like however many years ago, and you just don't use it as much. If you search people who've been on social media a while, like people who have been on YouTube for decades, and not decades, you'll find their Instagram score will probably be lower because people will have started Instagram and started following them when they were teenagers and then grown out of it and just don't check anymore. Anyway, I could get annoyed by people having fake followers just because I feel it's cheating. However, why do I feel so strongly about it? Look, I'm so lucky at my audience size to have worked with companies that I've worked with. I seem to be a bit of an odd one out in how things that I get approached for. I'm extremely lucky and I'm extremely humbled by that. I'm so grateful for everything that comes at me. The problem is when naive brands come to it, because a lot of brands still don't get this whole social media thing, but what they do see is they see influencers who can market something. So say if a brand looks at a YouTuber and thinks, oh, they have 50,000 subscribers, that's cool, wow, they must have like a good reach then. So if they were to say spend a few £1,000s on this person, on a brand deal, that brand isn't then getting the results of investing in a 50,000 audience. It also applies for events, like simple, like going to film screenings and stuff. You see people going along to them who have fake audiences. Of course, they're invited along because they've got a big number. No, they haven't. I don't like how it takes opportunities away from people that deserve it, because I've got friends with X amount of subscribers that don't get half the opportunities that you see people with fake followings get. And going back to the brand thing, if a brand partnership goes ahead on the basis of numbers that don't really exist, it's fraud. It's all fraud, really, actually. Every bit of it, even if it doesn't go into the whole brand thing. You are making yourself out to be something that you're not. And I don't quite know the legal side of it, but I think if we're going to get so tight with advertising rules and regulations, why not let's get tight with this? If you're committing fraud, get off the platform. Like, it's not happened yet, but imagine if a brand goes back and looks at someone that they've worked with to figure out that they have not had the genuine audience. That's going to cause problem. That brand could sue. They could sue and destroy that creator. And do you know what? I think it's time that brands wised up. It's not even just brands that want to work with creators in that regards, it's also the brands that want to manage creators. You know, back in the day there were only a few. You had your Gleam, you had your whatever. Now there's there's a load of talent agencies popping up. A lot of these are just in it because they think that they can get money out of these YouTubers. It means that they're not even doing the correct investigations. It's just a broken system. It's all so broken. I am so hoping that YouTube goes in circles and people get fed up of it and it goes back to being people who just want to create. I have found an app recently, actually, when I was researching for this video, called Watch.io, which I've just uploaded We Are Autism on because I wanted to put something on there. But I'm going to start uploading my videos on there as well as YouTube. Their prospect is the fact that this whole system is broken, so let's start again. So I thought, well, why not just join in with it? Have a download on there. I might upload some videos on there which like never made it to here because I've got some vlogs kind of out of chronology that wouldn't make sense to upload on here now, but if I upload it as like a past thing on there, yeah, check that out. Okay, so I've just been editing this video and there's a few things that I feel I can say better to kind of round it up. Of course, most of the things I've said have come from if you're a creator and checking out another creator, or if you're a brand checking out a creator. Most of you are probably just viewers and that's all you do with YouTube. But please do check out people, because do you really want to be watching people that aren't authentic? It's up to you, but I would have an explore. Often it's a kindness to tell people, because some people don't actually realise that that's what's going on because they have external people buying followers for them, etc. Other good little things to look out for are ratios. So if a video's got 50,000 views but 2 comments, that's a good indication to see, oh look, views have been bought. But one thing that never can be bought is engaged comments. So please leave me a lengthy reply. I imagine people have got thoughts on this. Let me know if you go investigating things and find things. There's lots to be talking on this topic. I just don't like seeing people who cheat go further than people who are honest and true about things. But yeah, thank you very much for watching. Bye.